There are rivers, and then there is the Nile, a river that doesn't just flow through land, it flows through time itself. Long before modern science, before satellites, before data, there existed a system so precise it could predict floods, famine, and prosperity, using nothing but water. Imagine waking up every year, not knowing if your land will feed your family or destroy everything you have. That was life along the Nile. This is not just the story of a river. This is the story of life, power, and one incredible invention, the Nilometer. There are rivers, and then there is the Nile River, a river so ancient, so powerful, and so deeply woven into human history that it doesn't just flow through land, it flows through time itself. For thousands of years, the Nile has been more than just water. It has been life. It has been mystery. It has been power. And above all, it has been survival. Entire civilizations rose on its banks. Kings built monuments to honor it, and scientists devoted their lives to understanding its rhythm. But among all the wonders connected to this river, there is one that stands apart, a forgotten marvel, a silent observer of history, the Nilometer. But before we reach that, we must go back to where it all begins. The longest journey on Earth. Stretching nearly 6,695 kilometers, the Nile is often called the longest river in the world. But its true greatness is not just in its length, it lies in its journey. Because the Nile is not one river, it is two mighty forces coming together to create something far greater: the White Nile and the Blue Nile. The White Nile begins its journey quietly, flowing from Lake Victoria. Its waters are calm, gentle, steady. It nourishes forests, feeds ecosystems, and sustains life across vast lands. Some believe its origins go even deeper into the hidden forests of Rwanda, a mystery still unfolding. But then comes the Blue Nile, wild, powerful, unpredictable. Born in the highlands of Ethiopia at Lake Tana, it carries with it something extraordinary: fertile soil. The very soil that would one day turn Egypt into one of the richest agricultural civilizations in history. Every year, during the rainy season, the Blue Nile would swell, bringing life and sometimes destruction. And then, at one historic point, these two rivers meet, Khartoum, and in that moment, the Nile becomes whole. Khartoum is not just a city, it is a witness to power, to conflict, to history itself. Founded in 1821 by Muhammad Ali Pasha, it began as a military outpost, but its location made it something far greater: a center of trade, a crossroads of cultures. But where there is power, there is always conflict. In 1884, a man named Muhammad Ahmad al-Mahdi rose against British rule. His forces surrounded Khartoum, and against all odds, they won. For a moment, freedom had a chance, but history is rarely kind. In 1898, the British returned, stronger, angrier. What followed was not just war, it was revenge. The city was taken back, and even in death, the Mahdi was not spared. His body was dug up and burned. A chilling reminder that power never forgets. Yet, through it all, the Nile flowed on, silent, unstoppable. The Sudd, where the river loses itself. As the Nile enters Sudan, it meets a place unlike anywhere else on Earth: the Sudd, a vast swamp stretching over 700 kilometers. But this is no ordinary swamp. It is a maze, a living, breathing labyrinth. Here, the river slows down. It splits, disappears, and reappears beneath thick layers of vegetation. And growing here is something remarkable: papyrus. Tall, dense, and unbreakable, so strong that even large animals can stand on it. This plant once gave humanity one of its greatest gifts: paper, the foundation of knowledge, the beginning of recorded history. A river that gave life to civilization also gave the world a way to remember it. The Aswan Dam, humanity versus nature. As the Nile enters Egypt, it meets one of humanity's boldest creations, the Aswan Dam. For thousands of years, Egypt depended on the Nile's floods. Too little water meant drought. Too much meant destruction. Life was uncertain, unpredictable, but the Aswan Dam changed everything. It gave humans control. Control over water, control over floods, control over survival itself. Behind it lies Lake Nasser, a massive reservoir, a symbol of human ambition. Today, it powers a nation, but it also raises a question. When we control nature, what do we lose? Cairo, where time stands still. Further north lies Cairo, a city where the past never truly leaves. Here, ancient wonders stand tall. The pyramids of Giza, massive structures built thousands of years ago, still standing, still watching. Beside them, the Great Sphinx, a silent guardian of secrets we may never fully understand. Inside tombs lie mummies, preserved so perfectly that they defy time itself. These are not just bodies, they are stories, messages from a forgotten world. And within this city stands Al-Azhar University, a place of knowledge that has educated minds for centuries. Alexandria, the final chapter. At the end of its journey, the Nile reaches Alexandria, a city named after Alexander the Great, once a center of knowledge, of trade, of culture, and home to one of the greatest wonders ever built, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, a beacon of light guiding ships safely to shore, a symbol of human brilliance. Until one day, it fell, destroyed by earthquakes. But even in its absence, its story lives on. And here, the Nile meets the sea. Its journey ends, but its story does not. The Nilometer, measuring destiny. And now, we return to the most fascinating part of this story, the Nilometer. Built by the brilliant scientist Al-Farani, this was not just a tool, it was a lifeline. Hidden beneath the ground, connected to the Nile through channels, water would rise inside a column marked with measurements. Each level meant something. Too low? Drought. Too high? Floods. But just right? Prosperity. This simple system could predict harvests, guide governments, control economies. Over 1,200 years ago, people could read the future through water. It measured more than levels. It measured hope, fear, survival. And even today, some Nilometers still stand, silent, waiting, as if they still remember what we have forgotten. Reflection, a lesson for us. The Nile is not just a river. It is a teacher. It shows us what happens when humans understand nature and what happens when they don't. It reminds us that unity creates power, just like the White Nile and the Blue Nile. And it challenges us to ask a simple question. Are we learning from history or repeating it? The Nile is not just water. It is memory. It is power. It is life. From its hidden beginnings to its endless end, it carries the story of us all. And somewhere, deep beneath history, the Nilometer still whispers, measuring not just water, but the destiny of civilizations. If this story made you think, if it made you feel something, then don't forget to support the channel. Like this video, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts below, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Because every story you watch is a journey you take. And trust me, this is just the beginning.